in time. So we want you just to be patient with us just a few minutes. We have with us Brother Minister Larry X. He is the one that's going to speak in behalf of Brother Farrakhan today. So we want you to pay very close attention, because what you're going to hear, I guarantee you, is going to be of a life-giving nature. This broadcast is coming to you live from the Final Call Administration Building at 734 West 79th Street. This is the 35th radio broadcast entitled The Respectful Life Series that will run for 52 weeks. The principal speaker is Minister Louis Farrakhan, National Representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Messenger of Allah. Call a friend, ask him to tune in to radio station WBEE on your AM dial. If you would like to attend these weekly broadcasts, you are cordially invited also. And if you are interested in supporting the radio ministry of Minister Louis Farrakhan, please send your contribution to the Final Call Radio Ministry, Box 20083, Chicago, Illinois, 60620. If you would like a tape of today's lecture, dial 994-5775. That's 994-5775. Or if you would like to subscribe to this series of broadcasts. Also, if you would like to become a subscriber to the Final Call newspaper, we will give you more information at the end of this program. And now, speaking in behalf of Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, we have Minister Larry X.
In the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and most surely his greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I greet my brothers and sisters in the nation's greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, we want to welcome you once again to the Final Call radio broadcast. As we announced to you last week, Minister Farrakhan will not be with us this afternoon. He's speaking in Oakland, California. And as many of the brothers and sisters know, that Minister Farrakhan is on tour. However, we are happy to announce, and he hasn't been here in 4 weeks, he will be here, inshallah, next Sunday afternoon. So we want to invite you out to be with us on Sunday to hear Minister Farrakhan here at the Final Call Administration Building. Please come out and do not come alone. I want to say that Minister Farrakhan sends the greetings to the brothers and sisters in the Chicago radio audience, as well as those who are here at the Final Call Administration Building. This afternoon, I will not be carrying the lecture. I just want to say a few words and introduce the brother of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister John Muhammad from Detroit, Michigan, who will be carrying the radio broadcast this afternoon. So those brothers and sisters in the radio audience, and I know that there are many listening who have either heard of Minister John Muhammad or know Minister John Muhammad, and especially those followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So please go to your telephones now and call them and tell them that Minister John Muhammad from Detroit, Michigan, the brother of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is here speaking this afternoon in behalf of Minister Louis Farrakhan on the Final Call radio broadcast on WBEE 1570 on your AM dial. Brothers and sisters, I also want to mention that Minister Farrakhan will be here again on Wednesday night, as he was here this past Wednesday night. Before we introduce Minister John Muhammad, I would like to take just a minute, and I know that this is a holiday weekend, and I hope that the brothers and sisters who are near their radios this afternoon and who have a day off tomorrow, I hope that you will take a minute to listen to the broadcast this afternoon and the words from Minister John Muhammad. There's much talk of the Nation of Islam, I know, in the black community and the press, not only in Chicago, but across America. Last week there appeared an article in the press here in Chicago that was widely read by many black people. Those followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, wherever we've gone in the city, people have mentioned to us the article that appeared in the paper here in the Chicago area last Sunday. I want to take a minute before we introduce Minister John Muhammad to go over a pattern that we know is being developed, and also the work of the Nation of Islam, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in this period. 20 years ago, and almost 20 years to this time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching hard and spreading Islam throughout America. At the time, the top spokesman for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was Minister Malcolm X. And they were having a tremendous impact on the black people of America, and in particular the youth, who were now for the first time hearing the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they began to examine it and even, yes, change their lifestyle. When the power establishment saw the influence that the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was having in many of the black communities throughout America, they wanted to do what they felt would retard that progress, or stop that progress, or slow that progress, or slow the influence of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that his top lieutenant or top minister at the time was doing for him is spreading that word throughout America. So Hearst paper put an article starting in New York City in one of their publications, and they syndicated the article across America. This particular article attacked Master Farad Muhammad. It attacked the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And this article was spread in all of the newspapers, I would say the established newspapers in the major cities. This article was an attack on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But the article, in my judgment, was designed to get those who were looking at the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and spread confusion in their ranks, or cause them to look away from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. White America at the time knew the power of the teachings of Islam. And those who were living during that period, you can witness with us that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teaching was shaking the black communities of America. He was moving from city to city. And what he was teaching was awakening a dead or sleeping black man. It was bringing him to a level of consciousness that he had not known before. This America feared, because with this level of consciousness, it made black people look at America and see America as she really is. It made them to see their own condition, their plight, and what had happened to them just through the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the attempt in that newspaper article was to discredit the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to discredit the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and cause black people who may have been listening or looking at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad perhaps to become confused. 20 years later, history repeats itself. The teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, coming out of the mouth of Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan as he works to rebuild the nation of Islam, is having a profound effect in black America, in the communities of black America. People now are listening once again to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad because of the work of Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's having a profound effect on the city of Chicago. Every Sunday that he's on this radio air and he's teaching the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there's another black man or another black woman or a black teenager or a black young sister who is quickened to consciousness because of Minister Farrakhan's ability to teach the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, showing that what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has the power still to resurrect or redeem our people from the mud of civilization. The concern pops up again. And the concern is not on the behalf of those groups who may be opposed to the way of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, black brothers and sisters who don't really understand. The messenger was your brother. He is not an opponent or an enemy of black people, but he is the brother of every black man, woman, and child in America. So your opposition to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad just represents your immaturity, because he's the best brother you could ever have. So now that they see that Minister Farrakhan is teaching the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's having this tremendous impact. And I've been witnessing it around the country. They know and understand this. So what they want to do now is discredit the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or spread additional confusion among those who begin to look, examine, and listen. I happened to be at the airport with Minister Farrakhan yesterday, and the man who was checking our baggage saw the name, and he said, yeah, what's happening to the Muslim movement? I read that article in the paper. Is the movement breaking up? See? So people are not totally in tune. They don't make a habit of studying the Islamic movements. They're into their own lifestyle. They're doing what it takes for them to survive in America. They're not busy plotting the course of everything that happened. There are black people out there, but all they hear is a word. What's going on with that Muslim movement? And they say that if this is what's happening inside, then when they listen at a distance. They say, it may sound good, but I can't get involved in that madness. This is the attempt of the devil once again. This is the attempt of the power structure once again to try to slow down, to try to stop the movement of the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that has the most profound effect on black people of America than any other teaching that they could get. They would rather for them to have some teaching that will make them continuous in the passive, docile, slave-like position or mentality. They would rather for them to have a teaching that keeps them involved on a community level, fighting and killing and arguing and going through changes with one another. They would rather to see us arguing over drugs and liquor and discos and other kind of forms of madness that do nothing but destroy us. They would rather see us in that bag. But if they see that there's some teaching coming down out of the mouth of a student of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that is quickening this black man from the dead, then what they want to do is retard that progress and create a situation where black people who may take a step forward to help Minister Farrakhan would say, no, there's too much stuff going on within the framework of that movement, and I would rather step off. So they are attacking the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the teacher of Minister Louis Farrakhan, as they attacked the Savior 20 years ago, the teacher of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But the scripture says that your agreement with hell will not stand. And it says that Allah plans a plan and the devil plans a plan, but Allah is the best of planners. So we're in that hour once again. And this afternoon I am honored and very happy to have with us someone that knows the Honorable Elijah Muhammad very well, who was in the nation and watched the whole movement of the nation from its inception in Detroit in the early 1930s. And I'm happy to say that this brother has stood up for his brother, and he knows his brother and his work, and it's Minister John Muhammad. We're honored and happy to have him in Chicago this afternoon to talk to the brothers here at the meeting at the Final Call building, as well as those brothers and sisters who are listening on the radio throughout the Chicago area. So we want you to listen carefully, pay attention. We have with us, and we're very honored to have with us, Minister John Muhammad, the brother of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from Detroit, Michigan. Let's bring him on with a warm round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful, the Lord of all the worlds, who came to North America in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, the only God that I know, the only God that Messenger Elijah Muhammad said to me that he knew. I thank Allah for his coming in his person. I thank him for the resurrection of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, the last of the messengers to we the so-called American Negroes who has been a slave in America for near 400 years at the coming of Master Farad Muhammad. I thank Minister Louis Farrakhan for such wonderful and beautiful work that he has done in the rebuilding of the nation of Islam. I thank Minister Farrakhan and his staff for such great opportunity for me to be present with you today. I thank each of you for being here and those that could not be here today. Brother and sister of the nation of Islam, you who has been in the nation of Islam and you who has not been in the nation of Islam, you who sympathize with the nation of Islam, and you who do not want the nation of Islam, I thank Allah for you. That is, if you are black. Because teaching that Master Farad Muhammad, who Allah came in his person, and the resurrections of his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it did not come to but one people, and that is to the lost man, the man that had no knowledge of self nor anyone else. That's why I say black. I don't believe there is not a people on the earth of his nation does not want to give honor to his nation. I believe in honoring my nation. I believe in the teachings that Messenger Elijah Muhammad gave to us. I believe in the Holy Quran and what it says. I believe in all of the prophets that were sent from God. I can't believe in those that say they are prophets or say they are messengers and know not Allah. This day, I am so honored to be before you, and you who cannot see me but hear my voice. I would like to bring to your attention the new Islam. The new Islam that was brought to us. The so-called American Negro, the black man of today, yesterday, and tomorrow. I would like to bring to you the new Islam, not the old Islam. I don't know about your belief. I can't say anything about it. But I can talk only of my own. Before the coming of Master Farad Muhammad, I was a member in the Baptist Church. Before 1930, at his coming, I removed myself from the Baptist Church and became a follower under Master Farad Muhammad, the same as Messenger Elijah Muhammad. I believe today that if every people on the earth, regardless to what he is, color or whatnot, would take up the words that Messenger Elijah Muhammad taught us, it would be a better world for tomorrow. I cannot say that the new Islam was for all nations of people, because all nations of people, I do not believe will ever come under the sun, moon, and star as one nation until after the hereafter here on earth. Not a hereafter that will come about after physical death and the resurrections in some spirit after that physical death, but a resurrections in this present life, a death that we underwent in the year of 1555, buried in the Western Hemisphere, forgotten, robbed, mistreated, beaten, and killed by an open enemy by one that will never say that he is a brother to a black man. The New Islam, taught by the last messenger. I say the last messenger because according to the Holy Quran, Muhammad 1400 years ago was the last prophet. But the messenger taught me and others that it does not say that he was the last messenger, but he is the last messenger. Being raised up among the last people of the earth, a people that never before had a teacher of any kind after he had mounted the shores here in America. The last messenger had to come to this people, as the Quran says and teaches us. Every nation had a warner to go to them, but we had no warner to come to us to tell us of this kind of a condition that we was in. Not until Master Farad Muhammad, God in person, came to us and raised up right in our house, right in our midst, in the midst of people who did not know him. And after he was raised up, then people did not know him. Today they do not understand that he is the last of all the messengers. And we are the last people. You cannot talk to those people that was under the voice of Master Farad Muhammad to tell him or her concerning the Prophet Muhammad 1400 years ago. You cannot talk to them to try to make them to believe and understand that today is the day that we must look for the return of Muhammad. You can't tell us that. Muhammad has already returned. Master Farad Muhammad taught us the history of Prophet Muhammad forward and backwards. He taught us the history of self, and he taught the history of others. In his 3 years and 6 months here in America, teaching his servant, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I wish that you could sit long enough. I wish that the people here in Chicago would give all day on the air, so that you could get a belly full of what Master Farad Muhammad brought.
Go ahead, brother.
So that you could understand that Messenger Elijah Muhammad is the oldest man that has taught black man in America of self. According to chapter 70, verse 41 of the Holy Quran, Malayan Muhammad Ali translation, section 2, a nation to be raised up, a nation to be raised, to rise up for self, a nation of people. Why you tell us a nation is to be raised up of the earth, they had their own. And here is a small group of people who has been lost from home and their people for 400 years. And now, back at that time, at the writing of this Quran, it tells you a nation is to be raised up. What nation? Everybody has went to their own. They live with their own. All but you and I, the black man of America. Never did we understand neither book, Quran nor Bible. Not until Master Farad Muhammad taught Messenger Elijah Muhammad. And after he taught him, after Master Farad Muhammad taught Elijah Muhammad the truth, none other than the truth, then here come out every Tom, Dick, and Harry with the Holy Quran saying, I am the messenger of God.
Go ahead. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Others came out trying to preach the Bible. Don't know either book. But Master Farad Muhammad taught Messenger Elijah Muhammad both books, Bible and Quran. Then after Elijah Muhammad began to teach it to you and I, they wanted to kill him. Hated him. Oh, yes, they did. They hated him. I hope you are listening out there.
Come on.
They hated that man in the city of Detroit when we only had one temple. Just one. Run the man away from the city. Put him in jail there. Put him in jail here. Put him in jail elsewhere. Did the same thing for the God of the universe that came to us, Master Farad Muhammad. Put him in jail. He had to suffer that in order to get to you, in order to get to black man of America, to teach you that this whole planet Earth belongs to you. All praises is due Allah. A new nation is to be raised up. And they are to be brought into the place of others. And they are to be a better people. Listen at it. And they are to be a better people. Who is the worst people? They're going to be the better people. Living in a place that is known as the wilderness. A place where there's nothing dwells but wild animals. Wilderness. A place where uncivilized people dwell. In the wilderness of North America. That people is to be raised up is none other than the black man of America. We know and we understand. We hear and we see that none other people is greater than the so-called American Negro, the black man. People don't want to hear you say that. People don't even want to hear you say you are the original man. They want to call you something else.
Just a quiver.
What is better than the original man? Just because it has a long answer to it. It has a long question. Nobody can answer it. Nobody can write it. Nobody knows who the original man is but the original man. Nobody else has his knowledge. Nobody knows what he created but him. Nobody can create anything but the original man. And you have it proof right here in America. Look at all of the things that has been made here in America. Go back and count how many black people that was the cause of this operation to be finished and brought about that it would serve the nation. Count how many black men did it. No wonder that some of the people said, black man built America. He did. Black man of America. A new nation. Why has you got to be new? It's because that we are a new people, taught a new knowledge, raised up in the newness of Islam, a new Islam, raised up by one Messenger Elijah Muhammad, from that he received from God in person, Master Farad Muhammad. According to the footnote, 2567 of then Muhammad Ali tells us that an evil generation will be brought to naught. An evil generation of people. And another people, the righteous, shall inherit the land. What land shall they inherit? The whole earth belongs to them. What did the evil people create? What did they make? How many trees did you plant? How many lakes and oceans, rivers and streams of water that you made? How much water did you make as water? How many storms can you bring about over your own land or other people's land? How many hurricanes can you bring about? You are afraid today that these earthquakes and storms are going to overtake you. You are afraid of it. You know they are going to come from time to time. And they are getting closer and closer. Now you want to leave the earth and go someplace else. But this is your place here on earth. And this is where you will be destroyed at. On this earth. Not on the moon. Not on Jupiter or any of the other planets. But here on this moon. As we know that this earth, as Master Farad Muhammad taught us, is named moon. Because the other part was taken away, and we call this part of earth to make a distinction between that other part. This part is our earth. Our moon belongs to the original black man. The old order will be changed and a new order established instead of that. Instead of what? This is quoted from Muhammad Ali's Holy Quran, in its footnote, as I just mentioned to you. The old order will be changed. What old orders? Why you got to change the old orders and bring in a new order and then destroy the people that is in that old order? Why you want to do such as that is because that we cannot put new wine in old bottles. We must take new bottles for this kind of a teaching. We cannot put this kind of a teaching that Messenger Elijah Muhammad taught in an old body of people who would not accept Islam as they should, even at the time their prophet came to them. We can't use that. We have something that's new taught to us. What is some of that? We had never had a people, a leader, a teacher to come to the so-called American black man and tell him openly who you are. Never told us openly who the devil is. Never told us who the Christian people is. Never told us about that God. Nobody came and told us that. Messenger Elijah Muhammad have said to us, when Master Farad Muhammad came to you and I, he came condemning all other religions. All others he condemned. As the Holy Quran says to us in it, the only true religion with Allah is Islam. Now, the change is coming about. I don't mean to change, wait a minute, I don't mean to change going back. I'm not talking about that kind of a change. I'm not saying the change of a people going back into this old way that we had during the time of Prophet Muhammad. Not that change. That never did change. And we don't want that. What we want today, is a new Islam. We want a new messenger. And we got him. We prayed for him. And after praying for him, here he comes right up in our midst. All praises due Allah. All praise. The new nation, the new people must have a new order of things. The new order of things is what Messenger Elijah Muhammad brought. He brought what no other leader, prophet or messenger brought to his people. Let us quote some of the messenger Elijah Muhammad, what he said in 1935, 40 years before his death, and it fits in this day. I quote it because it's talking to both man and woman, black man and woman, not white people, not the yellow people, but the black man and woman in America. Let me say this before I do this. When Master Farad Muhammad was here, he did not allow white people in his temples. You that's listening at me knows that. You that knows Messenger Elijah Muhammad knows his teaching is a factor. This is reference of today. How you have fallen from the right way, that now you are no more admired, but is looked upon by thine enemy as most hateful, and they whisper among themselves, saying, is these the model that was to be for the lost found? How they have degraded themselves and have fallen, gone back to that which your Savior did come and pull you out. What meanings have it? Going back to that he pulled you out of. Listen clearly. Master Farad Muhammad, I say, didn't allow white people in his temple. Not only that, he didn't allow to have in your temple. Many of them don't know why. Because if they come among you, they will destroy you. If they come among you, they want to know, is it right? I have experienced that in my 50 years in the Nation of Islam. I have experienced that of the Arabs. They does not care as much for you as some of the white people do. Listen, and here we are in the Nation of Islam a few years ago was dragged back into that which Master Farad Muhammad brought us out from, him and his messenger. Dragged back into the laps of white people. Dragged back to hug and kiss the Arab people. Why don't the Arabs give us some of the oil they have? Why don't they come up and say, brother, I'm a Muslim, you is a Muslim. You can have a gallon of oil out of every barrel that we sell. They don't do that for you. When they come, who do they visit? Do they come to visit and sit down with you? I know you don't like it, but Master Farad Muhammad taught it in my presence, and I'm glad he did. He said the only way that black man in America will have anything, he got to do it himself. And that is a fact. And look at the Nation of Islam today, how it went back. Fell back, and Master Farad Muhammad put it in a fact that the people should understand and know. Saying lead will not reach the bottom of any ocean any nearer than 4,500 yards, then it will float. Listen at that fact. You and I, looking around us right today, you see black man and woman who once were with Messenger Elijah Muhammad. They don't visit nobody. But still, that Nation of Islam is floating within their head like that lead is floating in that ocean. You is so powerful that he calls you the cream of the earth. You know that cream comes from milk, right? And milk comes from between the silk and the blood. And she's first at the bottom, and she works her own way to the top. And when she gets to the top, you can't carry it back to the bottom. So it is with you, black man in America. You must work your way to the top, and when you get to the top, stay there. Don't try to go back. We don't care who your leader is. You only had one, the one from God. And today, every black man in America should unite himself back to the Nation of Islam and stop fooling around, agitating yourself, believing that you are some people. Master Farad Muhammad said that we are the original man. I never yet in 50 years heard Master Farad, neither Messenger Elijah Muhammad, say that we was Belayan. I was in the official staff at number 1 Detroit. I ate with Master Farad Muhammad and the messenger and his staff right here in Chicago while we were setting up number 2. Don't tell me what I'm saying. Don't tell me I don't know. I know it before you was born. Now look at how mistreated self-contained until the enemies, the white people, standing back laughing at it. You don't see it. But Master Farad Muhammad and his messenger looked at it 40 years ago and said what you was going to do in this day. How you have fallen. We know at that time that a fall was coming in the Nation of Islam. It came at that time, and history do repeat itself. It rolls back, and now the last fall has come. Come on, black man and woman, sympathizers with Messenger Elijah Muhammad, and those that is Muslim and believe in the teaching of Master Farad Muhammad, come on here to the final call building and get in your own black nation. You look at how you dress yourself. Look at how you act. Some of the people that was in the Nation of Islam that I seen, that I heard their voices saying, all praises is due Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Some of those very people I have met was so drunk off and dope until they didn't know who I was. Listen, my dear beloved brothers and sisters, Messenger Elijah Muhammad said he knows you, and he did know you. If I could stand here all day long and tell you what he said about you and what you would do, you would shed tears. I'm talking to you out in the street. I'm talking to you who call yourself the Lion. I am telling you that you must recognize the original black man of the earth. You must recognize yourself. Don't tell me, are you just saying that? No, I'm saying what Master Farad said. I'm saying what my brother said. My brother taught it. And I know he taught it true. I know it was truthful. If he had not have been truthful, he would not have started. As he said to me one day in my house in Detroit, he said, brother, if you is on one side of the earth and I am on the other side, you hear about me, what I am teaching, and that I has been raised from the dead. So you tell the people, so I know that Elijah rose from the dead, and I'm going where he is. All right. Because he didn't know no God other than Master Farad Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, I thank you for listening. I thank you for being present, and you in Radio Land, come to the final call building and join on to your own. I know it's fact. I know it's true. No one can pull me away from the teaching of Messenger Elijah Muhammad, and let it be the same with you. Yes. I thank you as I bring again to you Minister Larry X. Assalamu alaikum.
Minister John Muhammad. Let's hear it from Minister John Muhammad. Minister John Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, in the radio audience, the tape of Minister John Muhammad's lecture is available. If you'd like to get a copy of that tape, you can call now 312 area code 994-5775. That's 312 area code 994-5775. Also, before we go off the air, I would like to once again make the announcement that Minister Farrakhan, who has been on the road speaking around the country, Boston, Washington, D.C., San Jose, Oakland, California, Atlanta, Georgia, will be back in Chicago this coming Sunday, June the 5th, here at the Final Call Administration Building. So make sure you come out to hear Brother Farrakhan or tune in on the radio station next week. Also, I want to make a few more announcements. As many of you know, they have a telethon that was on television last night, raising money for the Democratic Party. And you can see how heavy laden they had it with black folks. And what they are using on it is the fact that things are not going well in America under the present administrator, and maybe we should have back the former or someone else. But it's the Democratic Party. And I want to say that as I watched them raise money from across the country to get out the message that they felt was an important message, I feel that we should do the same thing as black people. Brother Minister Farrakhan has a message for black America that will quicken the dead, and that's our people lying in the filth of America. In the article that I mentioned in opening the broadcast that appeared in the paper here in Chicago, that article closes out with a quote saying that it's all a mess. The only way you can clean up a mess like that is that you have to show gratitude for the man who built it and made it what it was. You can't have hatred in your heart for him and clean that up. The only man that is cleaning up that mess is Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan, teaching the program and the position of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I'm saying to those black brothers and sisters, you can make a donation to this work, to the Final Call Administration Building, to help Brother Farrakhan get the message out to black America. We would like to put Brother Farrakhan on television across the country. Your donations to our work will help us make this a reality. We would like to be on more radio stations than just Chicago, but we would like to see Minister Farrakhan on radio in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Houston, St. Louis, Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Miami, and Boston. We'd like to be on the radio in these cities. What it takes is your dollars and your support. So this afternoon, you're not going to work tomorrow, you got a little time. Take out that checkbook and make us a check out. Say that I like what Brother Farrakhan is doing and saying to black America. And you can make that check payable to the Final Call at 734 West 79th Street, Chicago 60620. We appreciate your donation and your support. Many of you may not be here, and many of you may not want to become members of the Nation of Islam. But if you know that there's a man in America that's doing the work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it's Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan. So the newspaper said that many are swinging their support and their finances towards Minister Farrakhan to make you feel that we're really well off and we're doing all right. We're not doing enough, and we can even do more. The purchase of Minister Farrakhan's tape helped in the work. If you have not purchased one of his tapes, or if you have not heard one of his tapes, those tapes are available. If you'd like to get information on the tapes, you can call the number that we gave you, 312 area code 994-5775, and those tapes will be made available to you. Also, we want to announce that on Tuesday, June the 7th, Brother Lou Palmer, who is running for the 1st Congressional District, will be here at the Final Call Administration Building to meet the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam in our community, as well as the greater people in the community in this area. He's going to be talking about his position, and we know Lou Palmer. We know that he's been a brother and a helper in the cause and a great communicator. He has championed the cause of every struggle that has affected black people in this community. So when he asked permission to come and talk to our people, how could we say no to our brother? So he will be here Tuesday night, and those brothers and sisters in the audience who are listening, you are also invited. That's Tuesday night. Write it down on your calendar, June the 7th, 1983 at 7:30 p.m. here at the Final Call Administration Building at 734 West 79th Street. Be patient with us, brothers and sisters. We have a few more announcements that I would like to read. Here at the Final Call Administration Building, we have meetings every Wednesday and Friday night. On Friday night, we have study group sessions. And often when Brother Farrakhan is here teaching, we don't get a chance to make these announcements. But if you'd like to come out, if there's questions that you would like to ask of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, statements that you would like to make, on Friday night here at the Final Call Administration Building, we have a study group session. It's a round-table discussion where we can discuss the teachings and the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the work that Brother Farrakhan is doing to rebuild the nation. On Wednesday night, we have regular lectures here at the Final Call Administration Building. This Wednesday, inshallah, Minister Farrakhan will be out, and then again on Sunday. Also, we have the publications for those brothers and sisters who say, I know something about them, but I want to study more. We have the books that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has left with us. We have number 1, Message to the Black Man in America. And many of the brothers and sisters who feel that they are involved and they understand, you need to take a minute to read Message to the Black Man in America. Those who have never read it, or those who have it on their shelf but haven't opened it, it's collecting dust, take it and blow the dust off and open it and read it now. Also, we have available The Fall of America, How to Eat to Live. We threw away the diet of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and when we threw his diet away, we threw our good looks away. The Muslims started looking like hell. And only those who have gone back to the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and begin to eat as he instructed us, those are those that are now looking like Muslims once looked. And you can see the difference. It becomes clear. And the scripture talks about the mark in your hands and your forehead. I think you need to look at that again. So we have the Messenger's book. We have not thrown it away. We put it to the side, but we picked it back up. And we have found that the Messenger is absolutely 1,000% correct. And you know that the way that the American society is going now is God is plaguing the society. And the plagues that are in the society is because of the lifestyle. When we lived the lifestyle that was prescribed to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we didn't have those kind of problems. But we have them now in our society. So we want you to get those publications, and if you want information, you can call 312-994-5775. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. We want to thank Brother Minister John Muhammad. I'm going to call him back up to the rostrum to say a few words for you to take the acceptance. And we're going to hold you not too long, just for a few minutes. I know it's a holiday weekend, and I can see by the sister side that a lot of the sisters are getting ready for the holiday. But we want to thank you very much for making a sacrifice and being out. And I hope those brothers and sisters that are on their picnics or wherever they may be this afternoon or in their backyard heard the broadcast. We thank Brother Minister John Muhammad for coming in and speaking, because he is another one of them that can put the stamp of approval. He said, I know my brother. You know, I was with him all these years. And regardless of how they try to discredit the messenger and take away that God has given him, they will not be successful. Now, they have only just begun. They just started. And the stuff that they got coming behind it, because the Holy Quran says, vehement hatred has, appeared out of their mouth. What they say out of their mouths, you hear it, but what their hearts conceal is still greater still. Okay, so there's something in there that they got that they haven't even let all of that out yet. But those that know the messenger, and as Brother Minister John Muhammad was talking, I could not help from reflecting on those brothers and sisters that sat with him and shared the sweetness of the man, and know his dedication and love of black people, and know what he was fighting to establish and how he worked with the laboring staff. I mean, he had over 250 ministers across America, and he would work with him, and his constant talk to him was to get on the case, to resurrect the black man, wake him up, teach him. I mean, that was his love of black people. And when you read these excuse the colloquialism, these jive articles that they're writing about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, none of them want to give him credit. Say, here was a man that was dedicated to the redemption of the black man from the mother civilization. He didn't want to just teach him and leave him, but he wanted to teach him and clean him up. That's all he talked about. I mean, and see, when we begin to teach what the messenger taught, and then we become the living examples of it, you show the power in that teaching. Truth crushed the earth will rise again. And so they tried to wipe the messenger out. Now they're trying to do the job with this estate. And as I talked to that brother at the airport, I told Brother William and other brothers, see, he don't know he's a good black man. And he saw us. But when he looked at us, we didn't look like the nation was falling apart. And he may look at some other people. I saw some folks downtown the other day, and when I looked at them, I had to shake my head, I mean, if you're gonna get tacky, then at least, comb your hair and brush your teeth and do something. I mean, look presentable and civilized. No use you looking like a savage. See, that's because they threw the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad away. See, the messenger said when Moses came and to that beast in the cave, and he called them out of the cave, those that listened to Moses, they made some progress, because Moses taught them the keys to success. But those that rejected Moses went further up in the cave, and they did what? They got hairier and hairier, and they grew smaller. You understand? They what you know is monkeys today. That's why that white boy say, I'll be a monkey's uncle. That's exactly what he is, a monkey's uncle. Look. So, and what you see that history repeating itself. Those that throw away the messenger's teaching, he taught us certain things, how to take a bath every day. I mean, and believe me, when we came to him as Negroes, we had the Saturday night bath, and the white folks taught us that because they didn't want us to burn up all that hot water and everything, so they said, you take a bath on Saturday night and get ready for Sunday, and that was the only bath we knew. Many Negroes still do that. He taught us the beauty of taking a shower every day, you understand, and not offending your brother. He taught us how to eat, how to have a wholesome family life, how to deal with our own children. I mean, these are the things that he gave us that civilized us, how to act by one another, and how to deal with the public. He didn't say, I want to make you like what they are out there. I want to make you different, because he says opposites attract. If I can make you different from what white America has made out of our people, then you can attract the people to where you are. This is the way he made it. He didn't send us back into the madness that we came out of, unkept, unclean, all kind of filthy words coming out of our mouth. Every other word is a curse word. I mean, that's the madness of the world. And that's what he brought us away from. And those that rejected him, that's what they went actually back to. So I thank Brother Minister John Muhammad, because I had to think on it. Those who have savored the sweetness of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and know his years of dedication and standing on that rostrum for 3 or 4 hours Savior's Day teaching, or sitting at that table and solving the problems of a whole nation and keeping the nation going as the problems were mounting. Not only his personal problems, but the problem of each minister, and keeping him out there. The brother make a mistake and the messenger would spank him if the mistake was not too bad, and put him back on the track and tell him that when I send you to a city, I don't send you to a temple or a mosque, I send you to the whole city. And this is, as Minister Muhammad was saying about the cream. See, he brought you to the top. See? And when the bottle is all shook up of the milk, just put it down and let it settle. And if you're in doubt, just watch what happens, see? And the cream rises to the top. So what they're saying in the paper, when you read that article in the Sun Times, what is it, Sun Times? Yeah, last week, it says that the support and the finances are swinging towards Minister Farrakhan. That statement was there for a very definite reason, see? And they made out Wallace and the messenger, they put Wallace there. But the Minister Farrakhan is like the one in the middle now. See, he's lifting up the messenger, and the more he pushes the messenger up, the more that Wallace goes down. I just say it like it is. The more that Wallace goes down. See, so the devil fears Brother Farrakhan's ability to do that right now. So what he's saying is that they're swinging towards Minister Farrakhan. That means that they're looking at the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But if I can take and discredit the messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then I can stop the support that would come to Minister Louis Farrakhan. And that's why right now it's going to take dedication, hard work, and you got to have your mind, your ears open because they're going to work on Chicago because we represent the headquarters of the nation. But how merciful Allah is. Now the devil here could really concentrate on us. But they got a political issue that God brought right in the middle of it. A black mayor. You understand? And they're so busy trying to deal with that, then our issue that would be in headlines all the time has kind of taken a second place because they got that political problem to deal with. Isn't that beautiful? So it shows you Allah is God. Always has been and always will be. All praise due to Allah. So brothers and sisters, I want to bring Brother Minister John Muhammad. I thank him for being here. And, he's been in the nation many years, and if Allah blesses me with the time, I have to go to Detroit and just sit down, and so we can get some of the history of the nation. I want to say this before I bring him up. I had a thought early this morning about our children, and those Muslims who have children, and those who are not Muslims, is that, you have to get involved in giving your children oral history, and the best thing is start with what you know, and that's your own family. So you can say when your mother was born, where she lived at. Just try it out, see? And when I grew up, when I was 15, I met your father, and we got married, then we moved to Detroit. I went to school there and so forth. But tell your children that, see? And don't just do it once, but do it a few times. I tried it with my daughter the other day, and I had to get into it, and I was looking at myself as I was telling her things that I never just thought to tell her. And so I was telling her, and she didn't know, and she was listening with keen interest. And I was telling her about her grandmother and where she was born at, and when she was born, and how she moved here, and how she moved there, and when I was born. And she was listening with keen interest. And she said, how come you never told us about this before, Daddy? I said, to tell you the truth, I never thought to tell you, because I didn't really think it was of interest. But it is important. So I'm using that to say this is the same thing we have to do as Muslims with the nation. So we must do it. We must take the history of the nation with our children, and we must talk to them, and we must tell them. And we must continue to do that because there's nowhere that they're going to learn it unless we do it ourselves, okay? I mean, you have to do that with your children. And sometimes it's difficult because as you recite a story, and I'm using myself as an example, I thought about facets of my life when I was younger that I didn't want to tell her about. But as I repeated it, I just put a little blanket. You know how the FBI put a blackout in it? I just skipped from there to there. Because I said, this won't help you, honey. This will just hurt you. So I won't even tell you about that. But that's the same thing you have to do, but you can't avoid that history. Otherwise, the history is in the street form. See, they learn in the street. They look at what's happening, the madness of the community. But if you sit down and talk to them about it, you will help them. So John Muhammad represents that with the Nation of Islam. I mean, more than just a minister and a helper of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but his blood brother, who he represents a living sunnah or a living hadith of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually what he represents. Because of the years that he's watched the messenger and watched the nation and was there and met the Savior, Master Farad Muhammad, watched the nation from its inception. As he said, he came here and said as they were deciding on the building of Temple number 2 here in Chicago. And what he said was beautiful. In all of his years, he never heard the Savior or the messenger say that we should be called Bilalians. And one day when I have time, I'm going to tell you the shocking origin of how they even begin to use that name. I won't do it this afternoon. I want to bring Minister John Muhammad up. But thank you, and we want to thank him once again. Let's bring on Minister John Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum again. My dear beloved brother and sister, I am so honored. When you are on the air, you can't say what you want to say. You know what I mean? You can't take your time like you want to do it. It takes more than one time. It's a long history that you have made here in America. I heard Master Farad Muhammad, just like you sitting there. I sit there. And the messenger in him was on the rostrum. He said to us, he said, you are making history. Yes, sir. At that time, he told us that. He would say it often, and he would come to the temple. Because he would come plenty of times after a man named Abdul Muhammad, after he had pulled away from Master Farad, wanted to become the great I Am himself. And Master Farad Muhammad named him. But he wanted to say that Master Farad Muhammad was a devil. I want to say this to you. Many of you that have seen the picture of Master Farad Muhammad, his eyes looks as though he's got them closed, right? His eyes was as black as yours. And he told us one day at the meeting that he had to come like that in order to get to you on both sides. Because our people here don't mind a white man coming in their house. But in telling them something, they say, yeah, Mr. So-and-so said that was right. So he had to come in that manner. That's the body that in the Bible says, prepare me a body and I will go down on man's mouth. That is the body that was made so that he could come to us and he could go into the white people and bring back to you what they are doing. And he did so. Because he didn't have to go there to tell them what was doing. Let me show you something. Here in Chicago, in 1933, Master Farad Muhammad and the teachers, messenger, and officials was here. Number 2 was not sit up at that time. We was just only getting around to different people trying to get enough together. So he taken me to, as we was in a flower house here, you might know where it is. I couldn't go back to it now. He taken me up to this devil. He said to me after we got away from the rest of them, he says, come on, Muhammad. My name was Muhammad Sharif at that time. I had 2 names, Muhammad Sharif. Then he gave me John Muhammad. And he says, come on, Muhammad. He didn't never use the name Muhammad like we use it. He says Muhammad, which is written. And he says, see that devil over there? I say, yes, sir. He says, we wants to go to some place. I don't remember. But anyway, he says, we wants to go there. He says, I'm going to show you that I know more about the city than he do. Now, he's going to tell us to go all out of the way when we don't have far to go. I thought in myself, well, what the hell are you going over there to ask him for then? And you already know. But you know, he was teaching me that he understood and know. So we get to the devil. He asked him. He says, "Me and my brother, this man here, we wants to go to such and such place." He looked at him. He says, "Oh yeah, just like he had told me. Some speedy call and go left, turn right, and whatnot, and then you'll be there." So he says to him, he says, "Thank you." And he walks back. He goes back to the rest of the people, our people. He says, "I told you, John, Muhammad." He says, "I told you that I know the city better than he do. He told us wrong." He says, "Now we're going to go there." And we went right to the place where he wanted to go. Didn't ask anyone else. But he showed to me how the devil will misguide and mislead a people when you depending on them. That's what he was teaching me in that little space of time. Do not put your trust and hopes into this Caucasian white devil because he's going to lead you wrong. So, well, there's many things happen during the time that I was around him and the messenger. And one day, as I was going to say, we was having teachers' meeting out on 8 Mile Road in Ferndale, Michigan. We was out there that day. It was on a holiday. And he said to all of the officials, while the other part of the fruit was playing ball, he said to them, he says, will you take my credit and give it to another? We all say, no. We would not do that. We would not take your credit and give it to somebody else. And that's a fact. But what we did, I say we because so many of them at that time, taking the teachings that he had given to us and went and give it to another, give them the credit for what he had taught us. And that he knew and was teaching us, don't you do it. And now, here comes up my nephew, W.D., and takes the credit away from both men, Master Farad and Messenger Elijah Muhammad, for himself. And look at the fall that came upon them. After doing so, you just can't take God's word and his works and play with it. He taught us time after time, if you don't want Islam, brothers and sisters, don't take it. Leave it alone. Because it is the fire. It will burn you. And that's true. You may not think it's burning you, but the other person sees and knows exactly that you have a flame of fire following you. They can see it, but you don't see it. That is rhythm. So I say to you, my dear one, at this time, there is much I could say to you concerning what has happened in the 3 years that I was present among the followers and among the officials of Islam during the time of Master Farad Muhammad and the messenger at his rising. He is all. He is the oldest one that will come to you, as I was saying here. I couldn't break it down, there was time to break it down over the air because it takes too long to tell these things because it is a history of you. Yes, sir. If you don't believe it's a history, go and try and find the Muslims in America, their history of what they did. You will find different letters, as I have tried to find back in 35, 36. I went to the library and I found just a written type. It was not booked yet. And now they won't allow anyone to see it. I have been back to try to find it, and the names was initials, like M.S. and T.O. and whatnot. They initials, and was telling what those people did. If I could find just that again, I would know who the people is, even if I had forgotten their name, by the work that they was doing in the temple at that time. But I can't get it. They won't let you have it. Now, when I seen that, I couldn't bring it out. I would have copied the whole thing. But I couldn't bring it out. I had to sit right before this devil woman and read it. She's sitting in front of me, and a little table about as wide as this is, and I had to read it that way. And she making me forget what I'm reading by looking in her blue eyes. That's right. So, I say to you, this is the honest way, is to follow the teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Minister Farrakhan is doing the best work that I have seen a man do since the departure of Messenger Elijah Muhammad in the nation of Islam. Stick with him. Stick with him. Bring more to him. Bring more. Allah will bless you. You will never regret the day that you have came to become a follower under the new Islam taught by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. It is a new Islam. He mentioned it himself. And when he mentioned it, saying, in that day, they will call it the new Islam. He said, all right, now before he wrote it, it was said, it will be the new Islam among the people. And further, he states that this new Islam had to go into other countries. Now, further concerning it, Master Farad Muhammad taught us that we have to take this same Islam that he brought to you and I and go back to the east and clean up the city that you say is the holy city Mecca. Master Farad Muhammad said, you got to clean it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Now, where is your holy city? I'm from it. But you got to clean it up. Detroit is the Mecca that is referred to as the Mecca in the East. But you got to clean it up. There is one city that I saw a portion of the picture of it, but it wasn't on long enough for me to distinguish, was this the place that Master Farad Muhammad was talking about? Because the children, when this devil said children is there, that wear necklace around their neck that worth more than J.P. Morgan, Henry Ford, and Rockefeller put together. The stones in it is worth more than them three men put together. And when he went to say, this is the real, off it goes. I said, I couldn't get it. If you tell it, I'll know what Master Farad said, and I'll know if this is the place. No more. Plenty of people have not heard it. Plenty of them have not seen it. But you got to build yours. Don't pay that any attention. That ain't nothing. You don't look at me and think that I'm. Now I'll tell you what Master Farad Muhammad said about that. He said that is nothing but the cold and the heat meeting together. And the devil, he writes it too. That's all it is. He gave us a fact about it. Lightning cannot be heard over 15 miles. Lightning and thunder is the same thing. And if you're in the way of it, well, just forget about it. Excuse me, Brother Minister. I get to talking on that, I'll be here all night. On the things and the facts that Master Farad give us, and the knowledge that he taught us all night long, and the messenger taught us all night. I have sit all night long with the both. All night. I mean all night. I have sit all night with the messenger in my home. From the going down of the sun to the rising of it, I did the same thing on Woodlawn here in Chicago. Time after time. I'm not bragging about myself. Remember now, I'm not trying to put a rose on myself. I'm only telling you what I was lucky enough to be in and hear it. And if they didn't mean for me to tell you, they shouldn't have never allowed me in their midst, because I got a big mouth. I say to you, to the lost found brother and sister that is present, I say to you, as the messenger has said, join on to your own kind. Get into your own nation of people. Now it was broken down. We use the word join, but you cannot join. We was taught that the only thing you can do is to reclaim what belongs to you. And when you do that, then you come back into the fold of Islam, into your own nation of peace. And you will find out that you are the greatest people ever lived or died. There is so much in Islam to learn, so much to be taught. That's why Master Farad, I'm just like the messenger was. I don't talk over 6 hours. And I love to talk. Yes. I used to go to the temple and see Master Farad teaching. I used to say, I wished I could tell that like he's telling it. One thing that hooked me, and he said, all white people is the devil. I was glad to hear it, because as a little boy, I found it out. And just like you, if you ever came from Georgia like I did, and seen how white people in my time and some of your time did black boys, black girls, it's all right. I'll go with you. And you would. Like a lot of people say to us, we all is from one blood. White, black, red, yellow, and green, all from one blood. Tell them, yeah, that's right. We are from one blood. Yes, sir. They are from us. As the messenger used to tell me, he says, brother, we made him. And that's right. We are from our blood. But the thing that made it so different today, his blood is no more the same. After the grafting was over with, which made him to come through 12 processes of grafting, 50 years made the change. And when it did, that threw off all of the original blood. Now, at the end of his 600 years of grafting, for him to be made in these 12 processes, he's no more the same. He don't look like you. He don't act like you. He don't talk like you. He is not you. Because you have pulled out from your original brother by using the unwanted, if you wanted to say so. using the brown joint. The brown joint represents an unwanted something, so we let Columbus discover the pole part of the earth, right? We let him do it. So we let Yakub make a devil from the pole part of the original man. You get me now? So in making him from the original man, that causes him to grow weak. Bones is weak. His eyes become weak. He has boils and everything on his skin. I was looking at one this morning on TV. All over his face. Nothing but little ugly moles and things. I looked at him. I said, well, Yakub sure made you. So a lot of that is knowledge for you to know. Nobody tried to condemn Messenger Elijah Muhammad but the little poor black fools. That's right. When they went in Detroit to tell the white people about Muhammad teaching Islam and teaching that they was devils, the devils told them, go away from them, or either go on back and don't pay him any attention. Say, that man don't know what he's talking about. He is crazy. And that's what they say. They tell you that. They'll tell, go away today and tell what I'm saying. You say, oh, that guy's crazy. Right. No. Brother and sister, be of good couple. Be of good cheer. At this junction, may I ask you, if you're here for your first time, or if you were here for your third or fourth time, and you have not reclaimed your own title, which is Islam, so that you may be sit right along beside it by reclaiming it. Will you do so today? Will you reclaim your own title, which is Islam, the nation of Islam? The Lions don't call themselves a nation. They does not call themselves the original man. Other people honors black more than they do Belalian. Listen over your radio and see how many white people call you Belalian. They don't have nothing to do with Belalian. They say, the blacks. That's what I hear. I say to you, you might say, that, why you talk about that? Because I don't want to see you go wrong. I don't want, well, they have Jumu'ah prayer, and they pray 5 times a day. But you used to praying 5 times a day, you don't mean it. All right. What the use of praying for something, and it's being taken away from you all the while? I say to you, no, I love prayer better, I believe, than any other man. Because Allah answers my prayer. Just like He answers yours. We pray that you might accept your own tithe. Now who will come up and accept your tithe? That has not became your own type, which is Islam. it best for you to come join. Master Farad Muhammad said, it is immaterial to me. Listen what I'm saying. He said to us, he said, it is immaterial to me whether you accept it or don't accept it.
That's right.
You will be fine just the same. I'm not trying to scare you. But I would say, where else are you going to get the draw and the real teaching of Islam other than in the temple of Messenger Elijah Muhammad?
That's right.
Brother or sister, I thank you, brothers and sisters.
Yes, sir.
If you didn't understand, don't want to come back and be in the meeting. Come back and be in the meeting. I thank you. I hope to come back to you again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
May Allah bless you and grant to you your desire. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Minister John Muhammad. Wa alaikum salam. Thank you. I want to thank Brother Minister John Muhammad very much. Thank him for his words. If you want to know how the messenger sounded when he was teaching, John Muhammad sounds just like him. So we want to thank him very much for being with us this afternoon. Brothers and sisters, we have a few announcements, and then we're going to have the closing prayer. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to mention three things I made a note of when Brother Minister John Muhammad was talking. One, he mentioned the letters that he said he had to go to the library and read, and if he could see those names, he would know exactly who the individuals were. The letters that we wrote to become followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is called an acceptance letter. Minister John Muhammad was asking you if there's anyone here who wants to accept the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Once you accept the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and you attend some meetings, then you get what is called an acceptance letter. And this letter is written, and this is the letter that Muhammad Ali wrote, Malcolm wrote, Minister Farrakhan wrote, Brother Minister John Muhammad. All of us wrote these letters to become followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And when the messenger left us, what took place is that a few years later, they began to shred all of those letters, which is actually the history of the Nation of Islam. And what it tells you is that even if you came and you wanted to change a group or something, that represents the documentation of the background of that structure. You don't burn that unless you feel it's a threat. See, and when they had the book fires in Nazi Germany prior to the Germans moving out, they were burning the literature that they felt would be a contradiction to really the path that Hitler wanted to take the German people. See, now when we come to power, there's certain literature that if I'm in a position that I can ask the minister, can I burn it? I will burn it. Okay, all them Playboy magazines and all of them filthy love stories and all of that kind of madness. Okay, that needs to be burned because that kind of stuff is just weakens the morals of the society. You know, a whole lot of pictures in Hollywood. That's where we need to have a bonfire and burn all of that filth that's out there. But intellectual pursuit and thinkings of other people that just express the point of view, if you feel that would hamper you or it's a threat, then you want to get rid of it. These letters were destroyed. And I couldn't help from thinking about it when he was talking about the early documentation, because these letters represent maybe millions of black people who accepted the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Maybe some of them only stayed one day, but they heard it. They listened and they took the time, because you can't just sit down and write that letter. It takes time to go and to do it, to go through it. But it represents the millions of black people who came and took a step to follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that was destroyed. Even the books, when the books were put to the side and there was the question of what to do with them, there was the thought of burning them, but there were people who didn't want to burn them because they knew in their heart there was something wrong with that. I mean, they may have been opposed to the messenger, but there was something there in their heart to take all of them books and just get a bonfire and burn them, you know, because we don't want that teaching to come back, creates a problem. So I just wanted to make that point. Also, he mentioned Detroit, and Minister Farrakhan will be speaking in Detroit on June the 19th. So if you have relatives in Detroit, it'll be at the Cobalt Arena, I think they call it, Joe Louis Arena. Is that what they call it now? Okay, that's on June the 19th. That's downtown Detroit. Minister Farrakhan will be speaking there as a part of our tour. Also, this Saturday, June 4th, if you have any relatives in St. Louis, Minister Farrakhan will be speaking in St. Louis. I don't have the exact location. Maybe if William J. can hear my voice, he can tell me. Radisson Hotel, downtown St. Louis. Okay, Minister Farrakhan will be speaking there this coming Saturday afternoon. So if you have any relatives in Detroit, please make sure that they get the message. St. Louis and Detroit. Also, I want to mention a few other things that Brother John Muhammad said, and I wanted to make note of it. This morning on Sunday Morning News, they had the thing on herpes, not on herpes, on AIDS. Okay, and they were saying, I talked to Dr. Maurice, who is the doctor in Washington, D.C., is a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he's the minister in D.C., and he's a cancer surgeon, very brilliant young doctor. Right now he's taking a job in emergency medical services so he can have regular hours and he can help as the minister of the nation, because in surgery you have no real hours. They just call you all the time, and it would be an imposition for him as the head of our group there. So he's in emergency medicine right now, and he said it gives him a chance to see and learn a lot of things that if he just stuck to surgery, he wouldn't see. He does surgery there quite naturally, emergency surgery. But he was telling me, I asked him a question about this AIDS, because when you look at it, if you just look at it as it is happening in America, there's a book that they mentioned. Anybody see it this morning?
Yes.
You saw it? You know, they mentioned a book that was written as a novel about a plague and how a plague had gripped the people, but a plague is actually gripping people who have deviated from God's law in America. I mean, the herpes and the AIDS is aiding in the work of God. That's all it is, okay? Because what it does, the whole homosexual or faggot community is now alarmed. They have therapeutic sessions, and the fatality rate is like 100% within a period of 2 to 3 years. In other words, when they say you got it, know for sure that you're not going to live better than 3 years, okay? You got it. That's how serious it is. And even this morning they hinted out. See, first they tried to soft pedal it by saying that, well, we found it among Haitians and drug addicts. But this morning they let the key out. They said, yes, we must admit that those Haitians we found it among had some homosexual activity. You understand? The bottom line is a faggot's disease. You understand? And a faggot is a deviant from God's divine direction. You understand? It is a terrible thing. I mean, it's offensive. And it is robbing the black community of some of the flower of our youth. I mean, you got these brothers, when you look at them, they AC/DC, they go either way, and you don't know what the heck they are. But that's the kind of madness. But now, everybody is looking at, I better get in a straight. And whatever activity they had, look, no man wants to die. Even the one on television this morning, he was talking about death, and they were showing that he's getting thinner. Because what this AIDS does, it breaks down the body's ability to fight off any disease that will affect the body. Who knows the medical term for it? Can somebody tell me what it is? No. AIDS, the acquired syndrome. Thank you. Okay. And so what happens is you don't have the ability to fight off any disease, and then your body just slowly goes down and you die. Okay? So now, if you straight, don't say, well, I caught it from here and there. That's why they have all these questions, I mean, it's very difficult to try to explain that away. Very, very difficult. They say some drug addicts get it from using dirty needles. It's a blood disease. And they say they find it among hemophiliacs. Very few black people are hemophiliacs. Hemophiliacs came apart during the part of the graft of Yakub. See, when he grafted that devil out to the last stage, he became weak bone and weak wicked. He was a bleeder. That's all. And you notice that the Scandinavian countries that have the blue-eyed, blonde devils, that the hemophiliacs are high in proportions there, because that's like the last stage, grafting them so far that they just bleed. You scratch them and the devil bleeds to death. Okay, but you find it very rare among black people. Okay, hemophiliac. So they say it's a blood disease. Now they're saying that you could get it because the transfusion of blood. See, this is to try to in my opinion, look, blood that is used in transfusion, most of that blood is tested anyway. They have become so sophisticated now that being that they open up these blood centers, you know how I used to do, brother, when you were in the street and you needed $5 to do something you shouldn't be doing, you go and drop a pint of blood and get that $5, okay? But they knew that they were doing that. So you think that the devil is so unsophisticated that he goes into these communities and take blood from anybody and just use it on anybody? No, that devil's too scientific for that. See, but what he must do is calm the scare down. See, but all you do, if you don't want to be in that condition, then don't get in that position. That's the bottom line. Okay, that's all it is to it. The same thing with herpes. One man in the West Coast said, well, what do you do to stop it? Stop all this illicit sex activity and you will stop the spread of herpes. And they had the nerve to have a devil on television talking about she got it and she tried to give it to people. She's in misery. She want everybody else in misery. I said, look at this beast. And that's what Brother John Muhammad meant. Once you know them and see them as they are, you understand that they're nothing but devil. You know, that's all it is to it. So I thought I would just make those few comments, okay? So, brothers and sisters, we want to thank you very much for coming out. We need to take up a public collection, and I hope that you would help us in the donation. Let's give a nice, healthy donation today. I was looking at that thing on television, the way those people were pledging that money. I said, look at that. And that's the hope in a democratic system that they think may solve the problem, which will never solve the problem. So whatever you have to give, we thank you. If you'd like to write a check, like everybody, to try to give at least $5 or $10 when the bucket comes through to help in our work. I don't think that's too difficult. We want to thank you for whatever you give. If you want to write a check, make the check payable to the final call. Now, if there are brothers and sisters, Minister John Muhammad asked who would like to accept the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I know some of us are a little bashful at times. You may want to get up, but we're not like the church, you know. We're not going to grind an organ on you and say, come, and come on. Don't you hear the Lord calling you? Then you get there. The Lord wasn't calling you. When the preacher finished, you thought he called. So if you would like to accept the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, on your way out, we'd like to have a brother Allen. See the brother right here in the back? We'll have him standing in the back. You can go back and see Brother Allen. He will take you to Brother William J., our secretary, and he'll explain to you what's necessary to become a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You just have to be black, number one, and ready, okay? Also, I want to mention that we have a telephone service that Brother Carl developed that we want to do some calling, and I wanted to make an appeal to the brothers and sisters who work with the service this week or would like some information on it. Please see the Secretarial Department again, but we're asking brothers and sisters to make calls from their home on our fish and the tape products, and we have a script already written out for you, but we want you to, if you're making calls this week, the 10 brothers and sisters who have signed up, please invite the people out Sunday, Minister Farrakhan, and I think the appropriate welcome home for him on a Sunday hasn't been on the broadcast now in 4 weeks. It'll be this Sunday coming. And so in order to welcome him home, right, I think if we fill the place up, that would be appropriate for a welcome home, okay? And show Brother Farrakhan, I mean, he's working hard. He was in Columbus, Ohio 2 nights, and he drove to Chicago, got here about, I guess, 20 after 5 in the morning, and we met him at 5:30 and drove right to the airport to get on a flight to San Francisco. He spoke at the graduation at San Jose College in San Jose, then turned right around, came back into Oakland last night, and I talked to him a little before the meeting today. He's getting ready to go and speak in Oakland at the Civic Auditorium. So then, inshallah, he'll be home tomorrow, and we want it to be a good week. And Sunday, we would like to have a nice crowd out. So, and all it takes is a little effort to get someone. You know, I know how it is. You get here and you say, well, I had a hard enough time getting myself here. Okay? But make an extra effort and try to get someone else here with you next Sunday. And we like to fill the temple up all the way top to bottom. And what we do request is try to be in your seats by 1 o'clock. Okay? And if you notice when we go on the air, we try to get the minister on as quick as possible. So I hate to see a whole lot of people coming in after he started. And what we should do is have the temple full when he starts, okay? So that you're not coming in the middle of the talk. But we can do that if we bring our guests early. It's going to be a 4-week course. It will meet 2 times a week on Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30. Brother James 3X is handling the cost. We're charging $5. It's $10 a week, $5 each session, okay? The cost will meet approximately an hour and a half, Tuesday night and Thursday night for 4 weeks. And when Brother James finishes with that course, you will be literate when it comes to a computer. But really, we don't have the computer sets that we are ordering to teach the course, but he's going to teach you theory, and we do have one set that he'll have the students to work on. So the students who want to sign up, it's worth the $5. They charge $35 to $50 downtown, and I know because one of my daughters took the course and I paid for it, okay? So therefore I know what they charge, and I know what she learned and what she didn't learn, okay? So we're going to set the course up because tomorrow in America, if you don't have a computer, you probably won't even be able to go shopping. You're going to need a computer to buy groceries, but you got to have computer knowledge. Right now, some of the more sophisticated libraries, if you want to look up books and really get information without running through a whole series of microfilms like this, looking for one article, you got to be able to operate a computer and pull up what you want right on the screen. And so Brother James is going to go into that course here starting this Tuesday. And if you'd like to sign up, is Brother James here today, Brother Gerald? Okay, would you have him to make sure he's set up down in the lobby for those who'd like to sign up for the course? So on dismissal, you can see Brother James. Also, we're leaving early. It's only 5 minutes to 3, so we want to invite everybody to have something to eat. The sisters prepared some food. I know they did today because I can smell it. And so make sure you go down, and the sisters are a great help with their food service for the income that it brings to the temple, and also providing delicious, wholesome, balanced meal for many of the single Muslim brothers who may only get this one good, wholesome, balanced meal once a week. So we thank the sisters, and may Allah continue to bless them for their hard work. But make sure that you make them happy by going downstairs and get something. If you don't want a whole meal, maybe you can get something, a cold drink. But I'm sure if you get down there and smell that delicious food, they'll have it set up for you. You'll get yourself a meal. Okay, if there's no further announcements, did I forget anything? Okay, let us please stand. The registered Muslims, unless there's a transportation detail, we're all going to be dismissed. There'll be no holdback meeting, okay? Let us pray in the manner we're going to be taught. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the merciful, sole master of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we beseech for Thy aid. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed favor, not the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after they have heard Thy teaching. Say He, Allah, is one God. Allah is He whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, and none is like Thee. And I bear witness that nothing or no one deserves to be served or worshipped besides Thee. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is Thy true servant, Thy exalted Christ, Thy last and greatest messenger. Ameen. Okay, brothers and sisters, don't forget the tapes are on sale. Tapes of Minister Farrakhan. If you didn't get that Washington tape, you can get that. You can get the tape from today. And the books are on sale in the West Hall to my right. Go right through the door and right into the West Hall. Those items are on sale. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.